This Path of Exile 2 nerf drama is absolutely freaking insane, and people are losing their minds. They're just completely beside themselves, and I get it. I mean, if I had a build that was bricked because of a nerf, like a heavy nerf, like I totally get it. You know what I mean? So anyways, Ziz apparently came out with a video about it. We're going to take a look at that real quick, and then I'll kind of fill you in on a little bit of what my thoughts are on the topic and what POE should be doing about it. So anyways, let's see what Ziz has to say.
Hi, Zizaran here with another video for POE2, and this is a little bit of a discussion video talking about the recent nerfs and respec costs and things like that, and just giving my 2 cents on what I feel the current state of that is. So obviously a few people are very frustrated. Actually, quite a lot of people are very frustrated right now because they're playing a build and maybe finally getting something off the ground, especially maybe after they have been struggling, and it feels really good, right?
Yes, absolutely yes. 1,000 times yes. I think the most frustrating thing is that because of how difficult the game is and how long the campaign is, like people that have invested tons of time into this just to have a nerf happen and then they have to completely rebuild from scratch, like that's got to be incredibly frustrating. So absolutely, I understand that frustration for sure.
I always say the number one feeling that a lot of players chase in an ARPG is that they want to feel like they're cheating. They want to feel like they've found something really clever. It makes them feel smart. It makes them feel powerful. It's like, I broke the game. This build is so good. I'm so strong. I've figured out something really cool. Especially if that's not like one button, right? Like a bad example of this is Spiritborn in D4, where you click the eagle thing and that's it. You do nothing else and then you're one-shotting. Generally, that's not what everybody's.
Yeah, so because the big thing is like with Path of Exile or any ARPG, it's like you want to be able to create your own build and have it be viable. And I guess this is where the other side of it comes in, is that if you have 1 or 2 builds that are just absolutely dominating because of some weird interaction or whatever, it's completely game breaking, then everyone's going to be running that build, right? So it's that balance of how do you make it so that a lot of builds are viable and you're not balancing the game around a specific number of builds, but without ruining people's fun, right? So it's a difficult balance, but yeah, so I don't know. We'll see.
Looking for, especially not for Path of Exile, but in general, a lot of people really like in RPGs when they can feel very strong. So a lot of people have been getting that feeling now where they were struggling really hard, and then they found something really cool, like the cast on freeze meteor build, the slams, the gas grenade, and they're like, oh, I'm so strong. A lot of these things,
because early game power feels like crap.
Thing got nerfed quite hard. That's still
early game doesn't feel great
after the nerf. So props to DDD there for not completely killing the build. We still see a lot of people playing the gas grenade build. That might get nerfed again. We see a lot of people still playing Raging Spirits. Obviously, that only got nerfed for like that weird fireball interaction.
Yeah, and I play
and then
SRS. That's what I do.
In the patch that just went out 2 minutes ago, it was the cast on freeze build. Now this, at least initially, I don't know if there's a fix around it, but a lot of people are saying it's just completely dead. Now, obviously, there will be some nerfs that are just, well, the build is gone. It is completely dead. And there will be some nerfs that you just have to figure out an alternative way of making it work. But at least initially, people are like, it's dead. Now, I can't test this myself. I don't have that build.
Yeah, see, I remember looking at this, but I didn't do it myself, so I don't know.
About the early hard nerfs and stuff like that. Now, I'm in the camp that it is early access. It's not a fully released game, and this is when they need to do things like this. And they don't have a league in a month or in 2 months that is coming out that they can wait to do resets at. So, they should be doing these big heavy-handed nerfs. But, in my opinion, a big problem, and probably the biggest pain point for a lot of people right now, is if they get hit by a big nerf, well, if they don't have a lot of gold, they can't respec.
Exactly. Freaking exactly. Because like if you're at endgame, I think depending on your level, I think it's like something like $5 grand to do 1 respec point, and gold isn't exactly abundant either. Because I mean, also with I think the changes in drops is going to help a little bit, so people are going to be crafting their equipment a little more. But the big thing is gold is extremely rare. It's not rare, but you don't get enough, in my opinion. You don't get enough gold. So people are like, I have to buy stuff from vendors. They find stuff from vendors. The stuff from vendors is pretty expensive. Or you can gamba, and gamba is pretty expensive too. And then respecking is expensive. Everything's expensive, and there's not enough gold to really consider respecking. I have respect quite a bit personally, but it's still in earlier levels, so it hasn't been a ton of gold. And I've been selling my rares for gold. So yeah, there's just not enough gold. And I think that's the big thing is like, if you're going to do this, and they should, and I agree with Ziz on this actually, this is the time to do it. It's early access. The point of early access is not to release a finished product. The point of early access is to release something in a semi-complete condition for the purpose of testing and tuning. So if you're not okay with potentially losing your character completely to some huge change, then you shouldn't be playing early access. Okay, wait for the full release, because this is what it's for. It's to find stuff like, you know, this cast on freeze freaking ice comet crap. It's insane, super cool, but definitely shouldn't be in the game as game breaking, in my opinion, at least not in the current state. But yeah, like this is the point of early access. This is the time to do it. That's why they have early access, is to find crap like that the community can find that maybe they're not going to find. So, but they need to make a way to make it right with the people, so it doesn't turn off the new players. And that's the big thing, is long-term PoE players are going to stay, but new players is going to piss them off and push them away. So they got to find a way to balance it.
For my level 77 character, it was like 6 or 5, somewhere between 5 and 7,000 gold per respec, and I have 50,000 gold.
Jeez.
So, because I'm using a lot of my gold to gamble. I didn't really have a lot of gear.
Yeah, Gamba.
So for a lot of people, it's very frustrating to be having fun, to be playing a build they're enjoying. They get nerfed, and they maybe aren't in a position to respec. Maybe they don't have the gear. Maybe they don't have the gold to respec. But that is really frustrating for a lot of people. So, and especially
yeah, because when they make changes like this, it's not just the passive tree; it's the gear too.
So, I think that especially
if you spend a lot of currency creating your gear too, that's
maybe 4 weeks
that's frustrating.
Of the game, when there is going to be this many sweeping changes, which in my opinion there should be. It is early access, and
yeah,
they will need help testing from the community. That's the entire point of this. And again, if you don't want to be part of that, completely understandable, absolutely within your rights. You should wait for a launch, or at the very least a few months, because these sweeping changes are going to be here mostly now. And here we can see in the patch notes, trigger gem energy was not in the right place. It was far too easy to use ailments to trigger spells. One of the problems with the previous system was that if we balanced it to make triggering happen in boss fights, then the trigger would happen far too often during clearing. And in order to address this, we're making monster power part of the calculation for energy gain. That means that it's far easier to trigger seals from innate monsters than it is from normal monsters, but you also hit many more normal monsters when fighting. Another issue was using low-level skill with unconditional ailments such as Flame Wall to ignite enemies. We have rebalanced energy gain across the board. So
right.
for a lot of things, that means that their build is dead.
I think
like
that was
said,
necessary.
In the first 2 to 4 weeks, respec costs should... I mean, I would be definitely leaning towards just completely free. It really doesn't matter. People aren't going to be respecing between boss fights, and if they do, like, I don't know, does that really matter?
Yeah.
You can even lower gold drop a little bit if you're worried about people gambling too much.
Well, because I mean, the other thing is, if people are respecing, it's a sign that they're trying new things, right? And when you're a new player and you're looking at this huge passive tree, you should not be punished to try things. You know, because experienced players, they don't generally have to respec later in the game because they know what they want to do. They kind of understand where things are and how they want to do their builds. They have an idea. They might want to try it and test and tune, but there's no reason for it to cost any gold, especially with how little gold there is, in my opinion. So yeah, absolutely. It should 100% be free. I mean, there's no question at all. There's no reason to have respecking cost gold other than to have it be like a gold sink.
Just at the very least, significantly reduce the respec cost.
Yeah, like 75%.
So that people not only can try things, but are able to like continue playing when their build gets massively nerfed. Because for a lot of people, the campaign is so incredibly long. My first campaign was 1 day, 2 hours, and I'm pretty sure, like, I've seen a lot of people in my chat say that they were doing 2 days, like literally like 40-ish hours to get through the campaign.
That's me.
And when somebody like spends that amount of time to get through something, and their only option is like, well, you have to start over again, completely start over, that person is going to quit for a lot of people. Now, obviously, there are a lot of people that are okay with this too, but a lot of people are just like, nah, it's done. Like right now in my chat, so many people are like 30 hours, 35 hours, 44 hours, and I'm an Act 2 cruel. So it is a very long campaign to just tell people, make a new character. And saying, well, it's early access really isn't just going to do it for everybody. Again,
well, yeah, because I mean, to be fair, like your second playthrough is a lot easier, especially for a new player. Like, you know what you're doing. My experience with POE1 was that, like, not from, you know, nerfs or anything like that, but building a character and then going and then being like, oh, shoot, like, I should have done this. So after getting to like level 30, I restarted with a new character at my own choice because I was new. I didn't really understand anything. So I was just kind of learning, right? So my experience as a new player with POE1 was that I created a character. I ran until like level 20, level 30, created a new character, ran level 20, level 30, level 40, new character. I must have created like 7 characters before reaching endgame for the first time because I kept learning new things and getting to a point where I was like, oh, geez, like, I don't know what to do here. I did this wrong and I didn't know how to fix it. So I restarted, you know, started a clean slate. But I loved the game, you know, that most people won't do that.
I do agree. Like, if you hate stuff like this, early access probably isn't for you. But I think there isn't a really big downside. If I was grinding a games, what I would do is I would put out a post that for the first 2 weeks, first 4 weeks, we are significantly reducing, either 90% or 100% reducing.
It should be permanent.
And saying that by this time, we're hoping to be done with huge sweeping changes and respec costs will go back to normal.
No,
that's fine. And
even in the future, the respec cost is too high. It's too punishing. It's going to turn people off, new players, because if it's turning off new players now, it's going to turn them off when the game fully releases. They can't keep respec where it is. It's got to be less. It's got to be less. Significantly less.
Getting your player base ready for what the game is going to look like on launch. And I know that it's hard to take things back later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think that's better than the current situation. So I just wanted to make a little bit of post. I think most people in the community would prefer having the respec costs exactly the way they are now. That's fine 4 weeks from now.
No.
That's fine.
No.
But right now, that's maybe not where it should be. I would do 0 bitching if respec cost went back to exactly like now, as long as it's 4 weeks from now, and then do a 90% reduction now. Either way, that's my take on it. Let me know what you think. But either way, sub if you liked the video. But more importantly, try to die less than our builds do.
Yeah. Geez. Yeah. Okay. So I agree with him like 99% of that. I completely agree. The only thing I disagree with is changing it back because it's too expensive. And if you want to consistently have new players going into the future, you need to make it not punishing you need to make build mistakes not punishing. Gameplay mistakes are different, but build mistakes cannot be punishing. They need to be easy to change and adapt because again, there's so much there's so many options, right? There's so much you can do for a build because of the skill tree and the combination of the equipment and the normal skills. Like there's so much variability in there and so many options that you need to make it okay for people to experiment, right? So yeah, no, they should make it free and it should stay free or cut it significantly, 75% cheaper, 50, even 50%. But then the thing is, they can't just increase gold drops because gold is used for other things, and that would kind of break other systems like the gambling system. So no, man, it's just they need to make it cost significantly less or be free. I think that would not make as many people leave. Obviously, people are going to get mad when there's sweeping changes like this, but it's early access. Like, and I know some people are like, oh, that's not an excuse. Yes, it is. That's the reason for it. That's like giving a rough draft to your teacher and the teacher failing you on the assignment because of the rough draft. Like, no, this is a rough draft. This is submitting the rough draft to your teacher for feedback. We are the ones that they are creating the product for. So this is their rough draft that they are giving us for feedback in order for them to create a better final project. So yeah, if you're not okay with that, you probably shouldn't be playing. Because this is not a finished product. This is not the game. This is early access. This is the rough draft of the game. And it's freaking awesome. I love it. I think they're doing a great job. But the thing is, I'm not really concerned about it because GGG listens. They listen. I fully anticipate that they are going to do something with respec costs. Either give everyone a full respec for free, optional respec for free, or they're going to cut the cost of respec drastically or make it free because that's what everyone is, that's what everyone's saying they want. And honestly, a lot of people have been saying that from the beginning that the respec cost was too much. So anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. If you like the video, then just drop a like and subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are and we'll go from there. So thanks again for tuning in, guys. Have a wonderful day and don't be brain dead.